Brought to you by owned by Canadians, working for Canadians. General Motors and your Chevrolet and Oldsmobile dealers across Canada. KTEL International, specialists in leisure time products. Tom Wilkinson, the dandy little quarterback of the Edmonton Eskimos, leads the team which might become the greatest offensive machine in CFL history. They've scored 40 or more points 5 times this year. When Wilkie can't do it, Warren Moon can. As a matter of fact, Moon has impressive statistics. He has thrown 15 touchdown passes this year, tied for the lead in that department with Condredge Holloway. Jim Germany makes the Edmonton offense even more awesome with his strong running. Germany is second only to Montreal's David Green in rushing. He has carried 157 times, 787 yards. His longest 33 yards, his average an even 5. However, this day the Edmonton defense will have to contend with Tom Clements. He was at his best last Sunday against Montreal. Some say he deserved a win. 14 completed passes in a row, 19 of 28 that day. 273 yards. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tom McKee. In just a moment, we'll be joining Russ Jackson and Don Chevrier. But right now, let's talk to the much-traveled quarterback of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Tom Clements. Tom, it's a past, present, and future situation. The past, I thought you played well enough offensively to win last week.
Well, we controlled the ball. We didn't score enough points, but and Montreal got a few breaks. But I think overall we played fairly well. We made a few mistakes, and Montreal capitalized on those mistakes. And they're a great team, and that's how they win ball games.
Talk about great teams. You're up against one today.
There's no doubt about that. Edmonton's undefeated, and they got good people at every position. And it's going to take the best game that we can play in order to beat them.
And what about the future? We have to ask you this question. Is there any chance whatsoever you could remain in the CFL next year?
Well, I'm not really concerning myself with that right now. I'm just trying to play football, and when the season's over, I'll sit down and analyze everything. But right now, I'm just trying to play good football.
Thank you very much, Tom Clements. Now, let's join Russ Jackson, who is standing by with another pretty good quarterback, and that is Tom Wilkinson.
Tom, you're recognized as taking what they give you at the line of scrimmage when you come out of the huddle. After you've called the play in the formation, what do you actually do when you come to the line?
Well, Russ, the first thing you do is you come up and you look at the defensive alignment to see if the play you've called in the huddle is okay. And if it is okay, then you might look at a certain secondary person to see if somebody's given you that they're going man-to-man. And even though the play you've called might be good, now you might want to take advantage of a man-to-man defense or something. If not, and the defense they've given you hasn't overloaded on one side where you want to change your play, then you'll just come ahead and you'll go through with the play you called in the huddle.
Okay, how do you take it from Bob here?
Well, with Bob, you just put your hand up there, and the fact that we were born on the same day and he's got such a good body, he just gets it up to you real good. If you go on one, you go 370, 370, set, hut.
Okay, if you want to change the play, what do you do?
Now, if you want to change the play, you've seen something that makes you change it. You call, the first number you call is the snap count, the count that you've called in the huddle. For instance, if you're going on 2 and you want to change the play, the first number you come up and give is 2. Now, the next number you give is the play that you're changing to. So when they hear the very first number you give, if it's the number that the play was to be snapped on, they know the next number is changing the play. If it isn't that number, they don't pay any attention to the second number you give.
Okay, thanks, Tom and Bob. Now let's go up to Don
Lloyd
Chevrier.
Stewart is singing our national anthem.
Strong and free, and stand on guard, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, glorious and free, we stand on guard, we stand on guard.
We'll be back with the opening kickoff right after this.
How does it feel when you got it? Do you feel that you got it?
Pontiac helped introduce Canada to lean and roomy full-size cars. Our competition followed.
Hey, Pontiac, you got it!
And now, Pontiac's built for a changing world. Reduced weight, aerodynamic design, and a commanding new look. Just when our competition thought they'd finally caught up.
Nobody's got it like Pontiac.
You got it, Pontiac!
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos, one of the most devastating offensive teams in CFL history, about to receive the ball here on the opening kickoff. Joe Holloman is back there, along with Frietta, Emilio Frietta, number 37, for the kick from Zen and Andrews. This is Holloman. Out to the 17 or 18-yard line. A 23-yard return. Reg Boudreau, number 16, brought him down for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Russ, after a big game last week against Montreal, will see how well the Ticats can handle the powerful offense of the Edmonton Eskimos. And here is how the Eskimos go offensively. We'll start with Tom Wilkinson at quarterback, Angelo Santucci, an ex-Ticat, Jim Germany, the West top rusher, are the running backs, but all those great receivers, you see them there for the Edmonton Eskimos. This is Jim Germany, about halfway to a first down. He's got 5 in the area of the 23-yard line. Bill Banks, the middle linebacker, number 47, with the Hamilton tackle.
Don, I know in talking to Wilkie before the game, he's a little concerned about the gusting wind conditions here out of the northeast, and they're working into that wind right now. Throwing with it or against it was a problem.
One of the new guys in town, number 64, defensive tackle Lyndon Davidson, a product of the University of Ottawa. He is with the Hamilton training camp, went out to Winnipeg, traded back here, 6'4", 253 pounds, so he's big enough to do the job.
Wilkie out to Waddell Smith, played beautifully by Dave Shaw, who cut him off the moment he got the ball. It's going to be third down Eskimos with about 4 yards to go, just shy of the 25-yard line. So this Hamilton defense coming up big here to contain the Eskimos in their first series of plays. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats will be sending back Dave Shaw. Right now is the only punt returner for Hank Olisic, the top punter in the CFL, an average of 47.7. A 20-year-old learned to punt in high school football in Edmonton. Hangs it high to Shaw near the 50-yard line. Lost the control of it and finally gathers it in around the 50-yard line. A 36-yard punt by Olisic. So Hamilton will start just shy of the 50.
Well, John Payne had a full-out rush on Hank Olisic on that first punt, and you take the chance when you rush 11 men with Dave Shaw back alone that he may fumble that ball on you as he did there.
Russ, there's a good idea of what the wind is like here. That ball went up, came right straight down. The wind basically coming out of the northeast, but it's swirling quite a bit in here. It'll give those kickers some fits and maybe some of the passing, too.
Tom Clements is the Hamilton quarterback. Swings it out to Ronnie Rowland. First down, the Eskimo 44. Dale Potter, the left corner linebacker, ran Rowland down, who got that great speed and a chance to use it in the open field.
Well, Tom Clements, who went 14 for 14 before he missed his first pass last week against Montreal, dumps it out to Rowland, who started as a setback, and he turned it upfield, getting a good block to the outside by Neil Lumsden to get that first down.
John Holland wide left, Brock Ainsley on the right side. That was a 16-yard gain to the 44 of the Eskimos. Clements with time has a target. First down again. It is Craig Labette, the tight end, inside the Eskimo 30-yard line at the 28. Another 16-yarder.
Well, Hamilton chose to take this brisk wind, and it may be swirling, but Tom Clements is not having any problem hitting Rowland, and now Craig Labette finding the hole in that zone and taking the second 16-yard gain from Clements, and he's 2 for 2 starting where he left off last week.
Leif Pedersen lined up on the right side. Clements very impressive since joining the Hamilton Tiger Cats from Saskatchewan. Rowland And they have him for a loss. It is Potter who tracked him down to the 30-yard line. The loss is going to be about 2. The Ticats played much better offensively against Montreal with these people last week. Ronnie Rowland with the speed, back along with Neil Lumsden, the fullback. Brock Ainsley, Leif Pettersson, Craig Ledet, and John Holland are the receivers. But Clements, who went 14 for 14 at one stage of that Montreal game, is a tough man to defend, as the Eskimos might find out this afternoon.
And he got good protection from that offensive line we just saw.
Centered by Henry Waschuk. Clements going for 6 points. He's got it. Brock Ainsley, touchdown. Ainsley beat Joe Holloman, the Eskimo defensive veteran, for the touchdown.
Well, you can't get a better call than we got from Clements here. We had the blitz coming on here, and they did not get to Clements before he got the ball away. It was a safety blitz with Pete Laverato, number 7, coming in trying to put the rush on, but that offensive line did a good job, and Clements gets hit after he throws the ball, but does an excellent job of getting it away to Ainsley behind Joe Holloman, and Hamilton's moved out. 6-0.
And Rosition makes it 7 right there. A converted touchdown lead for the Tiger Cats. This game just 4 minutes old from Ivor Wynne Stadium in Hamilton. We'll be right back. The Tiger Cats struck quickly. Clements 4 for 4 in passing, 61 yards, a 30-yarder to Ainsley. It is down to Frietta in the end zone. Frietta reaches the 20-yard line. Good special team coverage by Hamilton. Jack Blair, number 41, stopped him after a 23-yard run back. Let's have one more look at that scoring pass from Clements to Brock Ainsley.
Well, another angle, you'll see Kepley come in the middle linebacker, and he tries to create a hole, and it was number 37, Frietta, who was putting the safety blitz on. He didn't get to the quarterback in time, and Clements laid it out perfectly for Ainsley.
First down for Wilkinson and the Eskimos. It is a completion out to Kelly, who was so devastating in last week's game against the BC Lions. For the Eskimos, Harold Woods pins him. The gain is going to be 6.5 yards. Near the 27-yard line. Well, we mentioned how strong the Eskimos are offensively, and that gives you some idea. Almost 3,000 yards passing against 1,790 yards for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Angelo Santucci is denied the first down on a good tackle by Luke Clare. So twice now, the Eskimos, who with this win to contend with are sticking mainly to the ground, have failed to collect first downs on their series of plays. From the 27-yard line, it's going to be 3rd down and 3. Dave Shaw is back with John Holland. Shaw, the only punt returner on the first kick from Hank Olisic. Now Holland, number 73, joins him. Remember, he's got this win to contend with, Olisic does. Gets down to the 50-yard line, takes a Hamilton bounce. Up for it is Shaw. Inside the 45 again. So, Russ, the choice of wind, a big factor certainly in getting Hamilton off to a good start.
Well, it was important that Hamilton get started fast in this particular ball game. They certainly did with that first touchdown drive with the 4 completions, and now this great field position. But this Edmonton club is a veteran club, and they know what they can do. They know they can come back, and you're not going to see them panic at this stage of the ball game.
Only a 31-yarder. That's the influence of that strong wind facing Olisic. His average 47.7. Neil Lumsden, the fullback. He leans in near the 41-yard line. Good for about 3. That is the first rushing play for the Cats today. And defensively, well, they're pretty close in containing the pass. Certainly Hamilton has given up far more on the ground. The Eskimos very tough to run on.
Very impressive with only 700 yards in 10 ball games.
I'd say so. Clements is rushed but gets it away complete. It is Leif Pettersson fighting for freedom. He dropped the ball, but the whistle had sounded. The Cats will retain possession with a first down at the 28-yard line.
Well, you have to continue to be impressed with Tom Clements, but also the protection he's getting from that offensive line of his, because he had time to sit back there, and it was Tom Towns, number 20, who actually, one of the linebackers, who put the pressure on him. But when you have to bring your linebackers to put the pressure on the quarterback, the offensive line is doing a good job. Greg Butler being the guy who pulled Lee Pedersen down.
That makes Clements 5 for 5. Draw play. Rolling inside the 15, near the Eskimo 10. The Cats, very surprising in the early minutes of this interlocking game. Emilio Frietta and Dave Boone with the tackles, but not before Rowland picks up 17.
Well, you can't get a better play call than this. When you're throwing 5 for 5, the defense has to look past when you go back. That time the draw play with Rowland's doing a good job of picking his way downfield to about the 12-yard line.
Clements, it was dropped by Craig Labette, the tight end. He fought that ball a bit too high for him near the 5-yard line as he had a thought of going to the end zone. We'll be right back after this. Who's had a tough season here. The Cats are 2-8, enjoying what he sees this afternoon. A tremendous start for Hamilton. They're second down just outside the 11-yard line. They send 2 receivers to the right side, Ainsley and Pedersen. Holland lined up left. Clements almost had it picked off in the end zone. That was Ed Jones covering on Leif Pedersen, and Jones had a glorious chance for the interception and some room to run with the ball, but couldn't bring it down.
Well, Pedersen did a great job of keeping Jones from getting that ball, because if he had caught it, he might have gone all the way from the end zone to the other end zone.
Pedersen became an instant defender and took that ball away from Jones. So now here is the Big Z and Ruzichin. A tough couple of opening games in Hamilton colors behind him, trying for 3. This is Hamilton's first third down in 10 plays in this ball game. And Ruzichin makes it a 10-0 football game. We're past the midway mark of the first quarter. The Cats have utilized the wind well with some good play selection by Tom Clements, and again some pinpoint passing on his part. They go on top by 10. The Toronto Argonauts, losing last night 34-25 to the BC Lions, are still 4 points ahead of Hamilton. If the Cats could score an upset today, it could certainly set things up for the Argos and Hamilton next Saturday at C&E Stadium. And that battle, seemingly an annual battle, Russ, for third place between these two.
It always seems to come down to that. Late in the season, they meet each other.
Wilkie a fake to Germany. Throws right. It is complete. Out of bounds. The coverage from number 20, Dorsey. On Tommy Scott, the ex-Winnipeg Blue Bomber. It's first down, Eskimos. That is their first down, their third series of plays.
Well, Wilkinson, a little roll to the right, and Kelly had gone deep with Tom Scott doing the out pattern at about 12 yards, and he had a lot of room out there on Dorsey.
Jim Germany, that strength and drive of his gets him up near the 53-yard line. He'll be good for about 4 to 5. Huey Campbell's team, there he is, the head coach, arrived late last night. Their plane was delayed en route from Edmonton, didn't reach Hamilton till after 10:30, I believe, last evening.
Well, everything went wrong this morning, Huey was saying. They were called late from their rooms, and when they got down there, pregame meal was a little cold, so it's not been a good trip at all.
I was asking if he thought that was an omen. He said, I don't know. He says, we coaches are paid to worry about everything.
And they do. No good. Stu Lang, number 15 out there in a battle with Randy Graham. Again, the Eskimos go to third down.
Good defensive play by number 14, Graham, as he's playing the inside safety spot and has the flat coverage. Got his left hand up in front of Lang and knocked that ball away, forcing Edmonton again to punt into this win.
There's Wilkie, who has been hesitant in throwing, and it's tough to throw into this wind, throwing short with moderate success. The Ticats containing the Eskimos' ground game rather well, and so now Hank Olisic gets set to punt.
I was a little surprised he didn't start Warren Moon into this wind, because he does throw the ball with a lot more authority, and we might see him in this game when they go against the wind again.
A no yards flag is thrown as Holland takes the ball for Hamilton across the 30-yard line to the 31. Dave Shaw made the first approach to it and then fell and got knocked down. So it's a 32-yarder, a 7-yard return on the Cats start with their deepest position of the day.
Edmonton number 53, first down Hamilton.
It's the setter, Bob Howes, 53, who was charged with infringing on the 5-yard restraining zone.
It's kind of tough with that wind condition, Don, to stay away from that ball. You're never sure how far it's going to go.
Or how you saw Shaw bumping into Jim Hyten as he went for the ball and missed it. Holland took over then.
Never know how it's going to bounce either.
That's true.
This is Ronnie Rowland. His quickness again takes him outside with a 45 for a gain of 6, pursued there by Potter and Kepley.
Well, John Holland, who started out last week and caught some great passes, just cuts down Greg Butler, 28, from that outside spot to allow Rowland to get outside for that 6-yard gain. He can block as well as catch the ball.
Blocked beautifully in that instance.
Some confusion out there with the official not blowing in, and now Hamilton is going up on the ball.
We have 4.5 minutes left of the first quarter. 10-0 Hamilton. Clements, a pinpoint pass again to Holland. At the 51 of Edmonton, it is another first down, a gain of 14 yards. Highbaugh and Butler there on the containment for the Eskimos.
First down, ball in the Edmonton 51.
Indeed, the passing of Clements reminiscent of his display last week against the Montreal Alouettes, his first full game with his Hamilton team. Out to Neil Lumsden, and he will have the better part of 8 yards. Ed Jones took him down, number 24.
Clements, who's been going downfield with the ball quite a bit, was covered. Receivers were covered this time, and as the veteran quarterback will always do, he looks to that flare man on the outside. This time it was Neil Lumsden. Instead of throwing it down in the teeth of the zone, they got the 8 yards.
Second down, about 2.5. Rowland makes his cut inside, gets a big first down, and then some, and fumbles the football. Butler out of bounds at the Eskimo bench with the turnover at the 43-yard line. A 17-yard return. Rowland had the first down rush, then lost control.
Ron Rowland did a good job of cutting back behind the block of Neil Lumsden and just appeared out of a pile of players there. And as he got hit, somebody seemed to touch that ball, and Greg Butler was there to pick it up. And Edmonton get a good break here late in this first quarter.
Wilkie out to Kelly, hit hard by Harold Woods. And Kelly is still down. He took a real shot from the Hamilton defender. We'll see how he is in just a moment. Brian Kelly still being administered to after that jolting tackle from behind by Harold Wood, and now finally getting to his feet. Let's have one more look at that.
Well, Wilkie throwing that ball out into the flat area, and you can see how vulnerable number 70 Brian Kelly was, and then Harold Wood, number 6, just laid the helmet and shoulder pads into that back area, and that hurts just a little bit. It smarts some.
Took a while to come around. Tom?
A few hundred miles south of here, 3-0 for Montreal Expos. That's after 3 now, after 3 innings.
That's good news. They're playing the Phillies in the windup of that series this afternoon. Wilkie going deep, wide open at the 20-yard line. Tom Scott, his second reception of the day, and the Eskimos are in scoring range finally. A 41-yard gain. Wilkinson to Scott.
Well, Wilkie's going to roll to the left here, and the Hamilton zone is going to rotate with them. And Tom Scott, who started as the slot back on the right-hand side, is in behind the safety man. There you see him combat Zach Henderson. And Henderson had completely rotated to the right side of the defense and allowed Scott that terrific alley to come in there and make that catch. And if he'd been able to stay on his feet, he would have scored 6 points.
And wisely, they get Brian Kelly right back into this ball game.
Kelly lined up right. Wilkie's looking for him. Now it's going to Scott. He can't hang on. Out of bounds at the 7-yard line. Scott ran a pattern that stopped just short of Kelly going down to the corner.
Well, Wilkie giving a little fake into the line, and this time he tried to semi-roll to the right, went that way with the ball, just threw it a little too far, couldn't quite catch it. Tom Scott going to him again after that great catch down the middle.
Just a word about that, Kelly. He's got 9 touchdowns on receiving this year. That's more than anybody else in the league.
He dropped the ball to the 10-yard line, had it in his hands. Don't see Kelly with his record do that very often. The second leading pass receiver in the CFL East or West. Waddell Smith leads with total yardage at 865. Kelly at 738.
Well, the ball perfectly thrown to the sideline. Kelly just not concentrating enough and drops that ball. And he reminds you so much of Huey Campbell, who we played against so often. Doesn't have that great speed, but has that knack of getting open. And Huey Campbell did that for many years for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Wind or no wind, this is well within Dave Cutler's field goal range. And he's good. With 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Eskimos get on the board. They now trail by a converted touchdown. The score 10-3.
You have to start looking at the fact that near the end of this first quarter, Edmonton only down a converted touchdown with Hamilton controlling the ball so much. That fumble that Rollins had and Butler recovered turned out to be a big play because it could have been just as easy 14 or even 17-0.
This is the 19th meeting in interlocking play between the two, and they're dead even. 9 wins and 9 losses, the Eskimos and Hamilton. But last year, the Eskimos left no doubt as to which of the two was the better team. They rolled up a 56-16 victory in Edmonton, the highest scoring game ever between these two, a total of 72 points. We've had 13 here with this first quarter almost complete. Ronnie Rowland and Harold Woods are back to receive for Hamilton. This is Cutler getting set to kick it away. With the wind, it comes to the shallow zone. Bill Harrison is out of bounds at the 48-yard line. They'll mark him at the 47 after a 16-yard kickoff return with the flag up and 49 seconds showing on the clock. Other games today in the CFL have the Saskatchewan Roughriders going into Montreal to play the Alouettes. And in the West, it'll be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the Calgary Stampeders. Last night, BC defeating Toronto in a high-scoring game, 34-25. Rowland has only a couple around the 49. Ron Este, number 55, the veteran of defensive end, stopped him. It will be 2nd down and 8. Rowland missed a couple of games for Hamilton with a hip pointer. They sorely missed him. His presence in the lineup certainly made itself apparent last week as he made the Hamilton ground game goal for the first time in weeks.
Don, I was a little surprised Clements didn't go to the air on the first 2 downs to at least get them to punt on 3rd down with this win. If he didn't complete the pass.
Well, maybe he's confident he'll keep the football. It took too long to get that play away. Time infraction called by Lorne Woods, the referee-in-chief.
Well, they were sure yelling here at the bench of Edmonton, too much time in the huddle.
Well, you have to wonder because there were about 48 seconds left when Hamilton got the ball, and Tom could have come out and thrown that ball downfield a couple of times. If he did complete them, they would have good field position. If he didn't, they would be punting with that wind and at least pin Edmonton back in their own end.
That's the first penalty call against Hamilton. The Eskimos were charged for no yards earlier. So this makes it 2nd down and 12. Pedersen came back for the ball and is close to the first down marker. Greg Butler gave him a solid hit as he made contact with the ball as the gun finally sounds to end the first quarter. At the end of the quarter, then the score is the Hamilton Tiger Cats 10 and the Edmonton Eskimos 3. We'll be back in just a moment. Autumn officially arrived about 2.5 hours before the game today, so who knows how many more pleasant afternoons such as this one we have left here in Southern Ontario. This one a dandy, though. About 18 degrees, the expected high, approaching that right now. The second quarter underway. Roland on the pitch out from Tom Clements is across the 50-yard line. He'll have about 3, maybe 4, Tom.
Montreal Expos, I guess, are playing long ball this afternoon. Andre Dawson is, I guess it'll be his 24th of the year. A home run, and then a 2-run homer hit by Chris Spire. Kelly, he's getting some adjustments really to his equipment there, but when he was spilled over there on the near side a little while ago, I think he wrenched his shoulder, so they wanted to take a closer look at that. So he'll be back into the ball game first chance he gets.
This is second down, about 6. Brock Ainsley came back for the ball, but got a first down near the 41. Larry Highbaugh made the tackle. The Eskimos, in terms of total offense, had 80 in the first quarter. The Cats 147 with the win. That win, of course, is shifted now in the Eskimos' favor, but Hamilton still has the ball, Russ, and I guess they have the confidence not to kick or quick kick late in that quarter, thinking they might be able to move it downfield, and they have very well here.
Well, Clements is still throwing that ball well, even into that win. That time, Ainsley did a good job of controlling it.
Roland bumped into a blocker, had nowhere to go, and is contained near the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up half a yard, not much more. Dale Potter again with about his 4th tackle of this football game for the Edmonton Eskimos, the ex-Winnipeg Blue Bombers. There's Zenon Andrusician, good for a field goal and a convert so far, regaining confidence, which I'm sure was badly shaken on his part in his first couple of outings here in Hamilton. And a punt blocked for a touchdown last week. Over the middle, it is Harland inside the Eskimo 20-yard line. Larry Highbaugh hauls him down at the 19. First down again, Hamilton.
Don, Tom Clements is continuing to throw this ball even into this wind, and what the Edmonton defense is doing, they are coming up, and other than the safety, they are all up within about 3 or 4 yards of that line of scrimmage. And when Clements gets that good protection, he's putting a lot of pressure on those defensive backs who are up so close to the line of scrimmage and have to get back in their pass coverage.
And he is getting good protection right now.
Oh, just great.
Into the end zone, it was too far. He threw into that wind with too much strength. The penalty flag is down. Could be a holding call against Hamilton. Leif Pedersen was open, but Clements overthrew him. That's the 3rd time Clements has failed to click on a pass today. He's now 10 for 13. Ron Roland, number 26, the halfback, was caught holding.
This, of course, could result in a kicking situation eventually for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Dave Cutler was telling me just a moment ago on the sidelines here. He says that's right now where the Hamilton Tiger Cats are about the worst spot in the field as far as wind is concerned, because it comes in that space over there in the northeast corner of the stadium and really swirls down here.
I'll tell you, that was almost a fantastic reception by Pedersen. Went up high, and Ed Jones was there to help him get rid of that ball, but he did all he could to hang on to it. So from the 30-yard line, it is now 2nd down and 20. John Payne overseeing a much stronger, potentially dangerous Hamilton football team, certainly offensively, than he's had all season long.
The experience of Tom Clements, 10 for 13 now, has to have made such a difference over these last 2 weeks.
Made all the difference. Here's Rowland. He has about 6. A long way from that first down. Just wanted to keep the ball dead center for what is going to be a field goal attempt from Zenit Androsition on 3rd down and 14 from the 24. Jim Walker and Dave Fennell were in on the tackles that time. To show you how well Hamilton has controlled the ball in the Eskimos half of the field especially is that Androsition has not had to punt all day, and we are now 4 minutes into the second quarter. He's 1 for 1 so far on field goals. This one will come from around the 32-yard line. He's got it. Bit of a lame duck as the wind helped wobble that ball over, but it was over. The Cats have got a 10-point lead right back, and we'll be right back. The Eskimos will start following Androsition's field goal from the 35. I thought they might accept a kickoff here and force the Cats to kick into a pretty stiff win. But they'll go from the 35.
Have to kick from the 35, and you expect to get out probably to the 45, as Hamilton did in the first quarter.
Jim Germany stopped up early. Rolled back from around the 37, 38-yard line. He didn't get very much. It's Pete Lavarado, who hasn't seen much action. They started Frietta defensively in his spot, the Eskimos did today. Emilio Frietta, number 37. Here is the story of the top receivers in the country. 1, 2, Smith and Kelly. Wilkie has got Scott. A good catch on the run. He fumbles the ball. And Hamilton comes up with it. Number 20, Larry Dorsey, made the recovery. And Tommy Scott has been shaken up on the play.
Well, I'll tell you, he was really hit hard.
Isolating on Tommy Scott going downfield. It was a great throw, but the hit here is one of those things as number 14, Randy Graham, came in and chopped him down. Zach Henderson being the one who chopped him down. And then the fight on the field is Waddell Smith, number 71, came in and tried to get that ball. But Dorsey was the one who picked it up, and he's got it for Hamilton. And that's a turnover each way, 28-yard gain. But a great hit by Zach Henderson on Scott.
There's no doubt about it. This is a very, very fired up Hamilton Tiger Cat team, both defensively and offensively. The scoreboard indicates that. The Edmonton Eskimos this season have allowed only 11.2 points against them, on the average, that is. Already the Tiger Cats, with 9:59 left in the second quarter, have chalked up 13. Scott coming off the field. He was pretty well shaken up, but I don't think there's anything broken.
Well, there's one man who had a hand in it. Ben Zambiazzi, number 31.
Some pride maybe shattered a bit.
The Cats really fired up today. Take over at the 34-yard line.
They're playing as a complete unit.
Here's Rowland. Well, he made an opening for himself. With his footwork, he had nowhere to go and took it up for a gain of about 6 yards. Fine work by Ronnie Rowland.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos do a good job of stringing out this play and forcing it to the sideline, but he came back against the grain, and just good running, as Don alluded to, of Rowland. Got that ball up over the line of scrimmage, but the penalty we'll hear now. It's a clipping call against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Willie Martin, number 66, caught for clipping. That'll take it back inside the 20. Hamilton will go from the 19. First down repeated, now 25 yards to go.
There's a happy man on the efforts that he's come up with today, Zenit Androsition. You know, he was a spear chucker down in college. That's how he went to college, as a matter of fact, as a javelin thrower, then turned to football.
Wore the golden shoe down there at UCLA.
Sure did, the golden toe.
Well, beats being a javelin catcher.
Pretty sharp.
Well, they let counter one bounce. Holland couldn't hang on anyway. Because with that wind against him, Clemens couldn't quite get the ball to Holland.
John Holland caught that ball on the outside in the first quarter. This time he tried to go out and up the field. He faked the outside on Larry Highbaugh, and you could see that that ball just couldn't be thrown that far. Ron Este, number 55, who's known for his pass rushing, did a pretty good hammer job on Tom Clements after he threw that ball downfield.
2nd down and 25. Ainsley is out of bounds. The rule no catch. Clearly, he came down both feet across the line. Holloman covering for the Eskimos. It'll be 3rd down now and 25. To show you as well as Hamilton's offense how well their defense is played, the Eskimos have only 12 yards. They're all by Jim Germany this afternoon.
Would you have believed that starting this game?
This is the first punt for Andrew Zishin.
And the wind is blowing strongly right now. Bad timing on his part.
Butler and Frietta are back near the 40-yard line. They move up in a hurry. They do. Way up. Butler lost the ball. The catch recovered. Another Hamilton turnover. You know, Russ, they were really playing it too deep with that wind. When they had to charge, of course, mistakes take place.
Don, I think you're exactly right, because Butler had to run forward about 20 yards to get a shot at that particular ball, and Blair is the one, number 41, who recovered it, but he came up there like a sprinter and just couldn't slow himself down, and the ball bounced right off him. And Jack Blair, number 41, makes the big recovery for Hamilton on their 44.
It was only a 29-yard punt. They were allowing for a good 45. Neil Lunsden threads his way through. Kepley has him. He's up for about a 3-yard gain in the area of the 48. We've got 7.5 minutes left till halftime. We'll be right back.
Buick grabs hold of the 80s and challenges the middleweights with Century. A Century like never before. Plush, formal, contagious. Century's gonna get you. Buicks, built for a changing world.
There's a brand new way of doing things. Buick's got the blues.
Regal, trim, poised, standing apart, bursting with vitality. New times, new Buicks.
Hamilton operating from their 48-yard line. 2nd down and 7 now. They lead 13-3 over the unbeaten Edmonton Eskimos. Clements 10 for 15. There you see it. A great day again for number 2. Leif Patterson's got a first down. Picks up close to 15 near the 51-yard line. Dan Kepley made the tackle.
Leif Patterson is well covered by Ed Jones and Dan Kepley, but Clements did just a great job of throwing the ball away from both the defenders, bringing Patterson back for the reception.
Patterson again. He fumbles the ball. Hamilton has it back at the 40-yard line, but it's still good for a first down. Huey Campbell just can't get a break today. Rowland made the recovery.
Clements again, that little fake into the line, holding the linebackers. Dan Kepley running to the sideline there. There's a big hole now when the linebacker is held up 2 or 3 yards behind that line of scrimmage, and it puts all the pressure on the defensive backs.
Kepley made that fumble possible. Here's the story. The Eskimos doing it mainly through the air. Just 12 yards rushing. The Cats also principally using the pass as their weapon. Here's Rowland, the 35. 20-yard line, out of bounds, way down to the 10. Frietta finally forced him out and saved the touchdown. A big play by Rowland.
Well, the first screen that Tom Clements has tried, he's tried the draw play, got the good pressure from Dave Fennell, but he dumped it out, and Moffett, number 56, got the good block downfield, about 5 yards over the line of scrimmage. The Glad rolling to get all the extra yards.
Labette inside the 5 is down near the 4-yard line. Double coverage from Jones and Flaetta there to contain him.
Well, Tom Clements running to his right. He does this as well as any other quarterback in delivering that ball while he's still going. And Labette this time really got hit by number 29, Joe Holloman. And they're inside the 5-yard line.
Second down from the 4. Out to Rowland. Touchdown, Hamilton. It's hard to believe, but the Tiger Cats lead 19-3 over the unbeaten Eskimos.
A great selection of a play. A little fake inside, really not much. And then Tom Clements rolled out, took on the defensive backer, and all that left was Emilio Flaetta to go out there and try and make the tackle on Rollins. But in isolation, you'll see Roland in perfect position to take that pitch as Clements forced the defensive back, number 28, Greg Butler, to put the pressure on him.
And Ruzichin, manning 1,000 today, gets the point after it is a 20-3 lead for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What a hand they get from these long-suffering fans at Ivor Wynne Stadium. A standing ovation. It's been a long time since people in this town have stood in the front of the local football team, Russ.
Well, they've waited a long time. It's a little chilly here, too, and they're really enjoying this afternoon so far, but don't count this Edmonton team out. They have a lot of experience. They know what they can do, and coaches realize that veteran ball clubs can come back because they've done it many times before, where if a young ball club gets behind like this, they have a lot of problems in mounting the offense, but Edmonton is so explosive it can score so quickly.
That is a fired-up Hamilton bench, I'll tell you, and a fired-up team we've seen both ways on the field. The Eskimos have got some work to do here this afternoon. They've had the wind advantage and done nothing with it, really, here in the second quarter. Low bounding kickoff to Jones, the 25-yard line. And Blair has him all wrapped up near the 30. Well, here's a message. Well, this was done before the game. They will end the Eskimos' winning streak today. Well, they've certainly taken a good head start in that direction, leading 20-3, but we've got a long afternoon ahead of us still, Russ, and the Eskimos are so dangerous offensively. They can strike so quickly almost anywhere.
I don't think they went to a lot of expense for that sign, did they?
No, it was a low-budget sign. But the message is there. Here's an example right here. Here's Kelly. Pulled down from behind inside the 20-yard line. Harold Woods saved the touchdown, and Kelly a little slow getting up again. He's all right.
You talk about how fast this Edmonton club can strike, and Wilkie rolling out to the right, and Kelly just beating Harold Wood, number 6, throwing that ball right in the slot. And if Kelly had that good speed that a lot of wide receivers have, he could have scored, but Harold Wood pulled him down from behind, but he's got that ability to get open.
I don't think there's any doubt about the fact that Kelly's hurting here with his left shoulder.
They can't get it to Wardell Smith in the end zone, with Randy Graham, number 14, covering. Smith, of course, very briefly was a Hamilton Tiger Cat. The Eskimos couldn't sign him. They've got a policy that no unsigned player will be on their roster. And then they got him back from Hamilton.
In isolation, Wardell Smith going downfield just tries to use that great speed of his to get in behind number 14, Graham. But Wilkinson just couldn't get the ball to him. He did get in behind Graham, but the ball wasn't there. But Wardell Smith was in this Hamilton camp earlier this year. He was traded here, then traded back.
Second down, Hamilton could be outside. The ball is incomplete. As number 31, Zambiazzi, tried to save it before it hit the artificial turf, but the penalty marker would likely indicate offside for Hamilton, but maybe somebody moved on the Eskimo side. We'll find out. It is offside. Angelo Wells, number 62, the defensive end, moved early. Tom?
Latest scores, we have Pittsburgh. That's an hour behind us, of course, starting in, is it Chicago or are they playing in Pittsburgh? I believe in Chicago. Anyway,
Chicago.
Pittsburgh's leading 1-0. That's in the first inning, and Montreal has now taken a 4-0 lead after 4.
There was Kelly waiting, and Woods came across to knock it away from him. It's going to go third down from the 15-yard line for the Eskimos, and play resumes in just a moment.
In a 2nd and 5 situation, just before that timeout, Wilkinson tried to go to the sideline to Brian Kelly, but Harold Woods, in a diving save, knocked the ball away from Kelly, who probably could have gone in and scored if he didn't get his hand on it.
Cutler trying for his 17th field goal from the 22-yard line. Has it? And now the Eskimos are 2 converted touchdowns in arrears at 20-6. Well, I'm sure John Payne will not be having to worry about anybody accusing anybody of rolling up a score here. At least Huey Campbell won't, after what Vic Rapp said to him last week.
These are strange sounds that the Edmonton Eskimos are hearing this afternoon. Cheers and clapping, applause, standing ovations for somebody other than themselves.
This is true. Although they certainly hear it at Commonwealth Stadium regularly. I think they're appreciated as a pretty solid football team around the league. But, boy, they've been starved here in Hamilton. This is a big afternoon for the Hamilton fans. Clements finds Patterson again. It's almost as though he's looking for him as his primary receiver in every play.
Well, last week it was John Holland, number 73, that Clements was looking for in that first half, and found him quite often in that in-between area between the linebackers and that defensive secondary. This afternoon it's been Leif Pettersson.
5 times. First down now from the 46-yard line of Hamilton. Rowland has not much room in which to operate inside and gets up to around the 49. That's good for a gain of 2 to 3. We have 2 minutes and 8 seconds until halftime. Clements is now over the 200-yard mark passing today.
Recognized as one of the best middle linebackers in the country. Recognized as one of the best middle linebackers in the country. Kepley, number 42, fights off a real solid block by Neil Lumsden, number 32, and gets in on that tackle. And when he finishes a game, number 42, Dan Kepley, he's physically beat.
They will miss the first down there at the 53-yard line. Ronnie Rowland is about 3 yards short. Potter and Boone combining on the tackles for Hamilton. So the Eskimos are about to get the ball back with 1:48 left in the first half, and they trail Hamilton 20-6.
Joe Holloman coming off the field. He leads the league in not being just exactly nattily attired to the code of Jake Bedore. You got to keep those seams straight, socks up, shirt tails in.
Or it's going to cost you money.
A whole bunch. Flag.
A flag has been thrown. As Greg Butler gets out to about the 20-yard line. Banks made the stop for Hamilton. Out of the play. See what that penalty marker was all about.
Could be a penalty against Hamilton since he's talking to Highbond. They're probably going to make him punt that over again.
Well, we're led to believe it could be a legal substitution. Let's see. That's what it's going to be. Legal substitution. So it takes them back 10. Bill Banks was sent on by John Payne's staff just a bit too late. Penalty's not really a major factor in the game. The Cats have had the worst of it. 5 infractions against 1. So it is 3rd down and 13. The bounce back to Butler at the 22. Good coverage. The Eskimos did not benefit from that penalty. He was at the 20 before. At the 22 right now. The tackle by Zach Henderson of Hamilton.
Montreal, Hamilton, BC and Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan. Highlights of all these games coming up in just a few minutes at halftime. Let's not forget Russ Jackson. He'll be here too with the top plays of this afternoon's game. Stay tuned at halftime.
15 remaining in the first half, and it's been a good first half of football. With a big surprise, the Cats on top by 2 touchdowns. Jim Germany could be his biggest single advance of the day across the 25-yard line. Lou Claire and Bill Banks rolled him back. He gets about 5 on that play, halfway to a first down. And right now ranked 2nd behind David Green of Montreal. It's very unusual to have an Eastern runner with the CFL rushing lead, and Green, who plays later today against Saskatchewan in Montreal, has it by a good margin.
Well, Jimmy Edwards for Hamilton was the last one to lead the CFL from the East.
On the sidelines, Lou Claire against Kelly, and for a moment here the fans thought he might have picked that one off. But it goes to 3rd down and 5.
You have to be impressed with the Hamilton defense as well as the offensive blocking, but what they have done so well, they've got well to the sidelines with their linebackers and their defensive backs to knock those passes down that Wilkie and Warren Moon, number 1, the backup quarterback, like to throw.
Hank Olisic, who struggled kicking into that wind, will now have it at his back with 45 seconds until the half. Here's Dave Shaw. Here is 40-yard line. Bumps into one of his blockers and will settle for about a 6-yard return. Angelo Santucci there to stop him for Hamilton with 35 seconds remaining. Hugh Campbell's got some work to do at his club to solve these Hamilton Tiger Cats in the second half coming up.
Now the question is, they're not getting a rush on Tom Clements, and he's completing those passes on them and hurting them. And will they want to bring the linebackers a little more often in that second half?
Ronnie Rowland gets it up for about 6. Reaches into the area of the 53-yard line with 31 seconds remaining now. Edmonton with a record of 8 wins, no losses, and 2 ties. Have that unbeaten record of theirs in considerable jeopardy right now. 15 seconds until the half. Clement slip, got pinned back at the 40-yard line. First time he has been sacked by the Eskimos today, and they got an assist when he lost his footing. Dave Pennell and Jim Walker were there to pin him. We have 6 seconds remaining. It's going to be 3rd down and about 16.
I wouldn't think that Hamilton would put their punting unit in. The clock will start as soon as the referee blows time in. Lauren Woods, and Clements will let it run down and just get the ball snapped back and kneel down.
Time has expired. Down he goes, and that should do it for the first half. The gun sounds. Surprising half of football. At the end of the first half, the score is Hamilton 20, Edmonton 6. Hamilton, a very happy crowd has seen the Ticats perform, I think, as well as they have, if not better than any time, Russ, during 1979. One man is responsible, Tom Clements, with some good receivers.
Well, the first time Hamilton got the ball, Tom Clements went 4 for 4, and on the fourth particular play, he hit Brock Ainsley for a touchdown. And it was a great call, and I'm not sure whether he audible or not, but Frietta, the safety, was on a safety blitz. And he didn't get a clean shot at Clements and was just a step or two late, giving Clements enough time to let Ainsley get in behind Joe Holloman for that first touchdown. But he took up just where he left off last week and was 4 for 4 in that first drive that put Hamilton ahead 7-0 after Z kicked the convert. And then Eskimos, not to be outdone, tried to come back, and Wilkinson, using Tom Scott, who's the slot back at the bottom of the screen, now rolls to the left. Zach Henderson, who's the safety, takes that roll, and he rotated too far to the left. Scott, the veteran receiver, went right down the slot there, and Henderson had to come back and get him, but if he had not come back, he might have gone all the way. Then, late in the second quarter, Tom Clements again, rolling out. He's got Roland there to pitch it to. He takes the linebacker on, number 30, Potter, pitches it out to Roland, and Roland goes in for that second touchdown to give them that 2-touchdown lead. But it's been Clements all through the first half.
That was right out of the Ottawa playbook when you were there. That rollout, little option in for the touchdown, just as easy as can be. Well, Hamilton Tiger Cats have a 14-point lead. The second half is about to begin. We'll have the kickoff for you in just a moment. Don Chevrier, Russ Jackson, and Tom McKee back with you from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton, where the Hamilton Tiger Cats have a 14-point lead over the Edmonton Eskimos and have chosen to give the win to Edmonton in the fourth quarter because Hamilton will be receiving with the wind at their backs here to start quarter number 3. And there's the story of the first half. Total offense 264 to 174 in favor of Hamilton. An edge in passing, big edge in rushing as the Cats virtually shut down Edmonton's ground game. Here's Woods from his 15-yard line. And he just ran out of gas. Big number 69, York Henschel, appeared to Woods as though he's covering the entire football field with his arms there, and Woods just went down. So they will start from the 23-yard line. Edmonton, with only 112 points scored against them all season, has given up 20 in the first half to a last-place CFL Eastern Division team, Hamilton. But they do not look like a last-place team on this occasion. 15 for 20 is Tom Clements. Good coverage by the Eskimos. Turned him back around twice until they finally got him to virtually negate any gain. It was Dan Kepley and Dale Potter there with the coverage on Roland. Make it a yard. It'll be second down and 9.
Well, Tom Clements coming out and throwing that ball on the first play. It appears they're not going to sit on that particular lead. They're going to throw the ball, continue to do it, especially with the wind at their back.
Early movement by the Eskimos, could be an offside call against them. Clements is taken down, but it was Jim Walker, number 61, who appeared to jump the gun. You normally can hear the referee, Lauren Woods, but his microphone is not functioning right now, so there's his indication offside against Walker. And the Ticats will accept. That takes it up to the 29-yard line, where it'll be second down and about 4. Then an Andrewsition on a perfect day so far for Hamilton. He's been called upon to punt once in the ball game. Twice indicates Hamilton's domination. Over the middle, good throw. Hard to defend against. Jones is powerless there. Catch is made by the tight end Craig Lebet, number 76, for the first down.
Well, Edmonton trying to put a little pressure on this Hamilton club. Brought 5 men that time, but when they bring that extra man, it puts more pressure on their defensive backfield, and Tom Clements taking advantage of that.
First down from the 41. Rolling. Roseline to the 45-yard line. He'll have 3 to 4. Dan Kepley, that good middle linebacker, made contact, number 42.
Well, Rowland being met by one of the best as he turns it in there. A little fake to Neil Lumsden, but then Kepley really straightens him up and rocks him back.
66 yards, virtually the entire Hamilton rushing game belongs to Ronnie Rowland. Wide open is the fullback, Neil Lumsden. Tightropes the sideline. They mark him out, though, at the 55. But midfield's enough for a first down on a 10-yard gain. Tom?
I don't know what the feather's all about with Angelo. Whatever it is, it's working this afternoon. Actually, I think that's out of an old chicken I saw down with the Colonel in one of those corner stores the other night.
Well, that's what Nettles used to do when he was around here. He had a feather in his hat a lot of times.
Yeah, a lot of guys doing it. Gives them speed. They fly. Imagine Angelo flying.
First down play from midfield. Emmons pivoting away from trouble and going well down those sidelines. Oh, he almost had the speedy Holland. Holloman was covering on John Holland, who is a 5-year veteran with the Buffalo Bills in the National Football League and joined the Cats about 3 games ago.
Tom Clements wanting to roll to this left side, gets a little pressure and has to outrun Ron Este going back to this right-hand side, and he just laid it up there with that wind carrying it just a little too far for John Holland.
Only been one quarterback sack either way, and that was Tom Clements, and he really lost his balance as much as anything. Dave Fidel pinned him. Good protection again for Clements. Now runs out on him. He simply could not take that much time. And Kepley was coming. He was there along with Ron Este.
Don, we speculated just late in that first half what Edmonton might do to try and get some pressure on Clements, and they are bringing those linebackers. They're rushing 5, 6 men. That time Kepley came as the middle linebacker, and he put the pressure on and got the sack.
A loss of 17. So Andrusician, with that following wind, is set to punt. Third down at 28 yards. It is a good one. Butler slipped as he made a cut around the 28-yard line. And the Eskimos will go from that vicinity with 4 minutes gone in the third quarter in Hamilton.
The Montreal Expos leading Philadelphia 6-2 after 6 innings now. And Pittsburgh is leading Chicago 6-0 after 4.
So the contenders having an easy time of it. Warren Moon comes on to quarterback the Eskimos and makes a completion out of bounds to Brian Kelly at the Hamilton bench. Kelly caught the ball for practice, but he knew he was well over the line.
Again, one of the things we expected might happen when Edmonton is going into this win, that we would see Warren Moon, because he does throw that ball with a lot more authority than Wilkie does, taking nothing away from Wilkie because he nickel and dimes you to death and takes exactly what you give him.
Keep your eye on Kelly, too, because he definitely did wrench his shoulder in the first quarter of this afternoon's game, so he's hurting a little bit and it might cut down some of his mobility this year.
Oh, Warren coming out to the right-hand side really wanted to throw that ball, but the coverage by the Hamilton defensive backs was too tight. He did the right thing. He tucked it in and went for the 8 yards.
Jim Germany has the first down easily. He gallops across the 50, then gets shut off in a hurry by Zach Henderson.
There goes Tommy Scott back out on the field. He just got hit in the side and he had the wind knocked completely out of him. The second time that's happened to him in this game. You don't need artificial respiration that way.
The Eskimos, by the way, just picked up their first down rushing in this entire game. They have 5 all told. 8 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 20-6 for Hamilton is the score. Germany and the Cats were looking for him. They wrapped him up early at midfield. He may have 2 yards. Lyndon Davidson, a newcomer at left defensive tackle, made the containment there.
some reason, Don, this Edmonton club doesn't seem to have the zip that you've seen them have this year. And you start to wonder if that late flight we mentioned earlier, they're 3 hours late getting in last night, the fact they were awakened late this morning is having its effects on them.
Will be a factor. This is not the team that we have seen roll through most opposition in the CFL with only 2 ties in 10 games. Almost picked off on the rebound by Jack Blair, but he could not win the juggling contest. So it goes to 3rd down and 8.5. Hamilton has shut off the Eskimos again. They will send back Dave Shaw on the left and John Holland on the right of your picture. They'll wait the punt from Hank Olisic in the area of the Hamilton 20-yard line. Olisic a good 10 yards below his season average here. Takes a spinner that hits about the 25-yard line, bounces back toward Eskimo territory. Dave Shaw scoops it up and is out of bounds at the 40. Hamilton gets pretty good field position again for their series of plays coming up in just a moment after a 25-yard punt. It's 20-6 for Hamilton. We'll be back. Well, Hugh Campbell can't figure out, I'm sure, what his Eskimos are doing wrong. I think he knows a lot of things the Hamilton Tiger Cats are doing right today. They certainly are full value for their 14-point lead at 20-6. 7:25 left in quarter 3. This is first down from the Hamilton 40. Clements dumps it out to Holland, and he has 9 yards, just shy of the first down at the 49. Joe Holloman eased him out of bounds right there. The Eskimo defenders have not been able to solve the short passing game of Tommy Clements, nor has the rush been able to really get to him very often. The one time they did, they were offside. The other time they sacked him, Clements actually slipped on the play. This is Lumsden shopping for a first down. The ball might have come loose.
Henschel and Fennell lead the tackle.
They spotted in Hamilton's favor short of the first down. It is going to be 3rd down and about a yard. It appeared as though Lumsden had reached the 50-yard line, but he did not. Hamilton gives every indication they're going to gamble. They are. Clements. Ooh, he's in pretty tough. Did he touch the 50-yard line? That's where he had to be to get the first down. He was thrown back a good 5 yards out of the pile of contact, but they rule first down Hamilton. Plus, the best play, basically, percentage-wise, has got to be the quarterback sneak in that situation.
Well, as long as that defense is giving you that 1-yard no man's land where they have to give you the yard line of scrimmage, if the offensive line gets off the ball, they know the cadence, then the quarterback should get that 1 yard.
Clements gets good pass blocking. He's got Holland at the 40, fumbles the ball. Highbaugh coming up with it to the 45-yard line to win a turnover for the Eskimos. Butler, number 68. The offensive lineman on the right side, the guard, is injured. He had to come back and stop Highbaugh when he scooped the ball up. It's a 20-yard gain until that ball came loose. Tom?
There's our old friend from Montreal days, Cal Murphy. I was talking to Cal starting this second half. I said, Cal, what's happening here with the Great Green Machine? He says, we were later today than the plane was yesterday.
Everything's late starting for the Eskimos, it seems.
They might have some other problems here. Olisic has got a nice pack in the back of his left leg up above the knee.
knocked away. Good coverage. The pass intended for Stu Lang was Bill Banks, the middle linebacker, defending for Hamilton. 5 minutes and 19 seconds remain in the third quarter. There is Hank Olisic, 20-year-old punter, just turned 20 years of age, a native of Edmonton.
Did you see that ice pack underneath there? Just a little bit under his left leg there.
Remember when I was in high school in Edmonton, St. Joe's, which was the school that Olisic attended, was the big rival of the one I went to, Victoria Compson.
I'm surprised you can remember that far back.
Oh, listen. It's etched in stone. I look it up every so often. Moves, scrambling, and his rule no catch. Tommy Scott back in the ball game, fielding it on the bounce. Zach Henderson was there covering for Hamilton.
Well,
Third down.
Tom Scott with that cast on that right hand going off that field, but Olisic coming on to punt again, but that defensive secondary getting a well-deserved round of applause from this Hamilton crowd.
Yeah, he's definitely favoring that left leg. There's no doubt about it. Doesn't kick with it, but it really doesn't matter when you extend yourself as much as those guys have to.
Well, he's got to plant himself with that leg. Gets away a pretty good effort with the win. Here's Shaw. No yards called against Edmonton. Ray Shaw eased out of bounds by Emilio Proyetta. A 14-yard run back. And that, with the no yards penalty, is going to again give Hamilton good position. They really have not been in desperate field position all day, Russ.
They have had that good field position, and the reason they've had it is because they've been able to move the ball almost every time they have had it. Lauren Woods giving us that no yards call. And again, kicking into that wind, Olisic not getting it out there. Number 61, Jim Walker, is the one called for being too close to Shaw as he received that. But Don, we were talking about the good field position, but they have moved the ball, and thus when they've had to punt it or try their field goals, which they've made 2 of them, Edmonton has started from deep in their own end.
Clemens is effective today, passing as Joe Paupaw was for the BC Lions last night in that win over Toronto. Out to Lumsford. He fumbled, but he's out of bounds. At the 45-yard line, it's only going to be a 1-yard gain. Tom Towns and Ed Jones were defending for the Eskimos. We have 3:53 until the end of the third quarter. 20-6. The score unchanged from halftime, favoring Hamilton.
Well, Halloween's getting close, but
is that Tom's costume?
That's really that Tiger Cat mascot. And I'm sure he's a lot happier this afternoon.
We get them all down here in the sidelines. All kinds of clowns. Some even play.
Clemens could not get out from that attack by the Eskimo defenders. They have him back near the 35-yard line for a loss of 8. It was Dale Potter again, who really is playing an outstanding game for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, the linebackers coming again, and that's when they're getting the good pressure.
There's Mr. Tiger Cat.
Number 6.
Second or third generation.
Yes, for sure. Vince Wirtz, the former one, and the original.
Third down and 18. Proyetta lost control. The ball goes out of bounds, and the Eskimos maintain possession. Proyetta very fortunate there that his fumble occurred so close to the sideline. It's a 42-yard punt.
Well, the ball hung up there with the wind carrying, and it carried just a little bit too far and actually hit Proyetta on the shoulder pads. And Woods was down there in a hurry, Harold Wood, number 6, to knock him out of bounds. And as you say, Don, fortunate that the ball was close to the sideline. All he had to do was tip it out.
They kept possession of that by the end of a finger.
Warren Moon over the middle, a strike to Waddell Smith. Look out. Waddell Smith is home free at the 10-yard line. He tracks in for the touchdown. A big thrust by the Eskimos, 77 yards. And a little dance by Waddell to celebrate the 6 points.
Well, Waddell Smith, who's the leading pass receiver in the CFL, has not really been in this ball game. He has not been catching that ball. This time he came across the middle, had Graham, number 14, chasing him, and then when he got that ball about 20 yards downfield, reversed it, went back to the left, and just outran everybody into the end zone, and does a little dance when he catches it. And that's an important touchdown because Edmonton has scored against this wind and will have the wind at their backs in that last quarter, and this convert could move them within a converted touchdown.
That's right. Hamilton choosing the wind has not scored with it here in the quarter. Here is Dave Cutler's point after. It is successful, and now the Eskimos are a converted touchdown behind. Hamilton 20, Edmonton 13, 2:45 left in the third quarter, and Wieldy 7 yards, 20-13 now. The Eskimos showing signs of life finally late in this third quarter. Rowland. Contained at the 25-yard line. So Hamilton will start deep. And let's have one more look at that big scoring play for Edmonton.
Warren Moon has such a strong arm when he goes back here. He gets the good protection. He just rifles that ball downfield. You wouldn't think there's any wind blowing out there when you see that thing go. And number 71, Smith, just took it in full stride, and once he got by Randy Graham, he just turned it back upfield and was in that end zone, and this Edmonton club can come from anywhere.
People wondering why they let him go, we'll talk about in a moment, as Rowland gets out over the 30-yard line for about 6. That is Waddell Smith being sent back to Edmonton. The Tiger Cats had thought they had a whole array of good Canadian receivers, and they did. Kerry Smith, Rocky DiPietro, for example, but they went down with injuries. And that plan hasn't worked out too well, and believe me, the Cats would dearly love to have Waddell Smith with them now.
Although this John Holland that they picked up the last few ball games seems to be the answer to one of their problems as a wide receiver.
Second down and 4. Clements has got Holland. That'll be another first down. Dan Ketley throwing him down. Along with Dale Potter.
Don, you just can't underestimate the experience that Clements has brought to this club, because under a lot of pressure as he's rolling out to the left, he comes back and he finds Holland. Like right now, he got to decide, what am I going to do that? And to throw back against the grain and hit him like that with Ketley in the vicinity, it just shows you what he's done for this ball club.
Clements is 21 of 28. Make that 22 of 29 as Neil Lumsden breaks the tackle. Down the sidelines, hold it, Neil. As he plays bowling ball at the Eskimo bench. It's going to be marked way back upfield as he stepped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. We got Cal Murphy and a couple of Eskimos. You'll see as the play winds up.
Little flare pass out here to Neil Lumsden. He takes it and he does a good job of getting by number 37, Freyana, and he stepped out of bounds now, but he's like a runaway bull right now, and everybody says, look out, here I come. I'm looking for 10 pins.
We give him a split there. Next shot, he'll have a spare. Rowland. Butler lost him. Then the support comes up, but I'll tell you, Rowland is hard to contain. York Henshaw allowed himself, with his size, to be dragged by Rowland across the 45-yard line. And that makes it second down and about 8. Minute flag is up, 21 seconds showing in the third quarter. 20-14 or 20-13. A 7-point lead for Hamilton. Clements for Patterson. He got turned around, lost the flight of the ball, and it was overthrown anyway. So it'll go to third down and 8 now. Ed Jones was supplying coverage for the Eskimos. Well, our CFL coverage continues next week with the Montreal Alouettes against the Rough Riders at Lansdowne Park. We'll be there to bring it to you on the full CBC television network next Sunday afternoon.
And that has to be an important ball game for both of those clubs. Montreal, if they can win it, can sit a little more comfortably in first place. Ottawa, if they want to get at first place, are going to have to take them on and beat them.
And Acquisitions punt is a boomer with the wind. It is gone out the back door. A single point for the Cats. That 65-yarder, however, on the final play of the quarter is the only scoring play for Hamilton with the wind in quarter 3. There's your third quarter score from Hamilton.
We'll give you those scores in a second.
Warren Moon has nowhere to go as he gets out to about the 37-yard line following that third quarter closing single by Andrew Zishin of 65 yards. Tom, those
Andre
scores.
Dawson has hit his second home run. That gives the Expos 7 now. It's 7-4. They're playing in the top of the 8th, and it's still 6-0 for Pittsburgh over Chicago. They are in the 6th, so they're going even Steven between those two.
And tomorrow, the Pirates will be at home to the Expos in what will likely be the pennant-deciding 4-game series opener. Germany with a first down across the 45-yard line. Thrown down heavily by Zach Henderson, number 34.
Cal Murphy talking on the sideline to Huey Campbell. That was quite a call there with that 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8 situation, and they got the first down.
Crowd here today, 18,186 in Hamilton. They have seen quite a ball game. Hope you're enjoying it too. Here's Moon on first down. He puts it up. There's nobody home. Dave Shaw went chasing after it. He couldn't flag it down, so communications problem there between Moon and his receivers.
Now Waddell Smith zigged when he should have zagged.
And he zigged so quickly, you can't get back to where he should have zagged.
Donna, just trying to remember. It was one of our baseball trips this summer. I think it was out in Seattle, and the cab driver was so high on Warren Moon from his college days.
Yes.
Was that right?
Yep.
I tell you, he throws a ball like you and I might throw a paper plane or something. So effortlessly. How do you say it? Effortlessly. That's it.
Easy for you to say. Second down.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Moon, that good strong arm, but I'll tell you, Zambiazzi wants to be called. Made a tremendous knockdown. Right on top of the Eskimo quarterback.
Well, Warren Moon wants to roll to the right, and Zambiazzi, as the outside linebacker, has containment. He does a good job of fighting Santucci, and then when Moon throws the ball, he gets that meat hook up in the air and knocks it down. He's a 100%er all the time. He goes all the time. He's around the ball, and he fires up that defense.
Third down 10. Tremendous punt with the wind down to the 5-yard line for David Shaw. At the 10, the 20. Shaw with a good run back to the Hamilton 25-yard line. Takes it up 15, and the Eskimos will start from there after a 60-yard punt. Warren Moon, Hugh Campbell hopes get something going for these Eskimos today. Tom Wilkinson couldn't get the passing game going. It was shut off by Hamilton's good defensive charge and their coverage in particular, and Moon having similar problems in relief of Wilkie.
They have a tendency to be a little bit too careful. He had Scott open on that last sequence when it was knocked down. Just took a little bit too long.
Rolling for about 4 at the 29 for Hamilton. Dale Potter again in on the tackle as he has so often this afternoon. Made defensive plays for Edmonton. Roland, a little slow in getting up, will enlist the support of one of the officials to get there.
Looks like a cramp, really. That's about what he has. And the training staff coming out, and he'll have to leave the ball game for one play. And
Jones, too, is limping a little bit, Russ. They tangled up on that play, and both are feeling ill effects.
Yeah, that's what it was, a cramp. And Bill Harrison, number 36, will come in to replace Rollins for probably just this one play.
We have 12 minutes and 8 seconds left, and the Tiger Cats lead 21-13, an 8-point lead over Edmonton. One of the major upsets of the CFL season in the making right here in Hamilton.
Cramp was the story. You got to shake that out of there.
It was dropped by Leif Pettersson, who's been so sure-handed today and has caught so many from Clemens previously. It'll be 3rd down and 6 Hamilton.
There's Roland, patting that right thigh, working out that little cramp.
The Argos lost Terry Metcalf last night with an ankle injury in the first quarter, although this, as you say, does not appear to be a problem for Ronnie Roland. He should be back soon. But right now, Hamilton, with Andrusician set to do the job, will punt the ball away. That's a good high kick into that wind. Diana to the 44-yard line. Henry Waschuk contained him. It was a 44-yarder into the wind, the punt. Will return right after this. Here is Don Warrington. Breaking it out across the 50-yard line, close to a first down, maybe just short. Depends on his marking. And looks to be about 8.5 yards.
8 of 9 on the play, 2nd and 1.
10 minutes and 49 seconds remaining. It is 21-13 for Hamilton. Germany across midfield to the 53. That will be the first down on a gain of 4. It's Angelo Wells supplying the tackle.
Jim Germany lined up as the tailback. Don Warrington has been leading some good halfbacks for this Edmonton club for many years. Does a good job of turning it to the outside, then Germany coming inside to get the 4 or 5 yards. Well ahead of the first down marker.
Here is Moon to Waddell Smith, and a sure tackle and a rough one by Harold Woods. Throwing Smith out of bounds at the 47, short of the first down. His gain is going to be 6 yards.
Harold Woods, as you mentioned, Don, on that play. Harold looks like he's been riding too many horses. They say if those legs were straight, he'd be 6 inches taller. Get a motorcycle between his knees. You don't need straight legs in the CFL or any place.
He's about as quick as a motorcycle, too. Germany. A big gain for the Eskimos. Zach Henderson may have saved the touchdown as he held on for dear life to Germany's leg at the 26-yard line. 21-yarder.
Warren Moon is mixing the plays up well here, because on first down he's throwing that ball, then on the second down situations with maybe 4 or 5 yards to go when Hamilton might be expecting that pass again, he's running Germany in there and getting those first downs. And good play selection at this time by number 1 Warren Moon.
For Scott. Oh, knocked out of his hands. Number 20, Larry Dorsey, with a big play for Hamilton.
Scott, I'm sure, felt he had 6 points here as he got in that seam area right now in front of number 20. He turned him around. The ball just a little underthrown. Gave Dorsey, number 20, a chance to knock it away from Scott, but you don't get that ball away from Scott too often in the end zone.
No, sir. Kelly left, Donahowski right. Scott left. Moon, lots of time. Donahowski makes the catch, but maybe just short of the first down or on the 16-yard line. That is the first catch for John Konahowski this afternoon. The ball put down between the 16 and the 17. That'll be just about a yard shy.
It's right in front of that Edmonton bench, so the coaching staff has a good look at it, and they have a choice to make here with a yard short, whether they go for the first down or take the 3 points and think they'll come back again. But it looks like Coach Campbell is going to go for the first down.
Lang coming in for Scott with a play from Huey Campbell. Likely will be for Big Warren Moon just to take the ball and use that yard you referred to earlier that he's allowed a plunge ahead for the first down. Let's see. It's a direct snap. Flags fly. Here's Germany into the end zone. Touchdown is signaled. Let's see what the penalty marker's all about.
That's some play, though, Don. I think that is just great.
It is against Hamilton, offside, the touchdown stand.
Well, that has to be something that catches everybody by surprise, because with Warren Moon moving up there, just as you called it, Don, you would expect that he's going to take it for the first down. They snapped it right through his legs to Germany, and he took it in for the touchdown. There were only about 1 or 2 Tiger Cats even knew he had the ball.
That's the kind of thing a football team will work on and wait until the right situation to execute it. It's got to make them happy when it works out the way it did right there, because the Eskimos are right back into it, 2 points behind. Here is the point after to bring them within 1 by Dave Cutler. And he has got it. The Eskimos, after trailing so badly all day, are a point behind now. 21-20. They trail the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Don't go away.
Pile up in the middle, and very few people knew that the ball was coming that way. Even Dave Shaw, number 37, really didn't realize it was there till he was almost in the end zone.
Harold Woods in the end zone for Hamilton. And he is cracked down across the 21-yard line. A 24-yard return. Dave Zacharko, number 45, made the stop. And here is Jim Germany, pretty happy with that sprint into the end zone to get the Eskimos right back into it.
And you start talking about field position again now, Don. We mentioned how Hamilton had that great field position. Now it's not so good, as we have a Hamilton player down, Jack Blair, number 41, on that kickoff return. With the training staff out there having a look at him.
Well, the thing is that you can have the Eskimos, you can catch them on a bad day to the extent the Ticats have, but with their ability, tremendous ability to score quickly, it's awfully hard for a team even playing as well as Hamilton to contain them all day. Here is Blair now, making his way out. We may be able to see here how he was injured.
Well, Blair coming down here, and Woods gets turned inside, and then Blair seems to get caught with his back over number 45 for the Edmonton Eskimos.
It was Zacharko.
Zacharko is the one who actually pinned him back.
Made a pretzel out of him. From the 21-yard line with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Clements being chased way back. He underthrows Leif Patterson. It'll be 2nd and 10. Well, now you're seeing it now. You're seeing accelerated pressure from the Eskimos and especially their linebackers on Tommy Clements. You're seeing their coverage improve, and Hamilton simply is not getting away with the things they did earlier.
Well, what they're doing, Don, they're bringing those linebackers on and putting some pressure on Clements, but some of the defensive linemen are hanging back in case they do screen them, because if you do bring the linebackers and they do throw that screen pass out there, there's a lot of running room, but they're hanging back with maybe 1 or 2 of the defensive linemen to help in that area.
Offside, come on, they're offside.
There's a penalty marker throw. Offside is the indication. Clements running for the sidelines, tripped up on a good tackle by Town at the 19.
I think Ed George is going to be called for illegal procedure. He seemed to be back in that pass protection pocket before the ball was snapped.
Well, what will likely happen, if that's the case, is the Eskimos will very quickly decline the penalty and make it 3rd down and about 12 and force Hamilton to punt.
Ed George is the right tackle. You can see him. He's moved back in behind the offensive guard, Larry Butler, before the ball was even snapped. So somehow lack of concentration, forgot what the count was, just figured he had to do a job on that defensive lineman. But it's a big penalty for the Edmonton Eskimos, because now Hamilton has to punt from their own 19.
And Andrusichin is standing back on the 5. 3 punt return men for the Eskimos out there at varying distances, depending on how strong the wind affects this punt. It's a good one by Andrusichin. It'll go to the deep man of the 40-yard line. Frietta lost control, then got it back, and will be very happy to accept it at the 41. A 50-yard punt into the wind under pressure by Zenon and Resition. Lou Claire and Bill Banks were downfield to contain Emilio Frietta.
Frietta is a little slow getting up, but he's had some problems all afternoon in fielding that ball. Again, it seems to come in close to his body and hit his shoulder pad. Fortunately, he's able to pick it up and get back upfield 3 or 4 yards, but he could lose a big one before this afternoon's out if he's not careful.
There's the story in first downs. 15 passing for Hamilton. That has been the difference. The Eskimos only 8 overall all day, but they are on the move now, trailing by a point at 21-20. Germany fights his way across the 45, near the 48. He will have a 7-yard advance. Jim Hyten and Bill Banks with the tackles for Hamilton, the middle linebacker and the right defensive tackle. Don't forget, next Sunday, Montreal will be in Ottawa. We'll be there to bring it to you on CBC television.
Quickly, that baseball score is still 7-4, top of the 9th, Montreal leading.
All right, Tom. Let's hope they hang on to win it. Waddell Smith is driven out of bounds by Harold Woods. And he has the first down as they move the yardsticks with the line of scrimmage now at the 52-yard line of Edmonton. Another reminder for baseball fans, speaking of the Expos leading and Pittsburgh leading today in their game against the Cubs, that the Pirates and the Expos will be on CBC television Wednesday night with backup coverage from Boston, the Red Sox and Blue Jays. This is Warrington to the 51 of Hamilton as the Eskimos are systematically and methodically grinding out yardage now with a much improved running game. Lou Claire made the stop. We have 4:57 remaining in the game, 21-20. As Warrington is a bit slow getting up, but he is up. There is Dave Cutler. He and Ann Resition could become very important to their respective teams as this ball game goes along.
Warrington not quite sure where he was there for a little while, but I think he has all the faculties back.
It is going to be 2nd down and 3. And there is the quarterbacking situation today with Clements the star of the show. Germany again, a big gain across the 45. He picks up 6 and the first down. Bill Banks, number 47, with the tackle. But there seems no containing the Eskimos now, Russ. Hamilton simply not shutting off the ground game as they had so well earlier.
Well, it seems like that 2-hour time difference from Edmonton here is just starting to take over, and Edmonton's starting to play football because their offensive line is now starting to dominate this game, whereas prior to this last quarter, it was the Hamilton offensive and defensive lines that were dominating.
Here's the rush on Moon. He's got it away wide open. Oh, and he can't get to the ball. Waddell Smith inside the 10-yard line. He was well in behind Randy Graham, but couldn't find the ball.
Well, you have to credit Angelo Wells, number 62, with possibly saving that touchdown because it was his rush on Moon and probably just caused Warren to throw that ball a little bit earlier than he wanted to.
Plenty of time left, 3:55, 21-20. Hamilton leads in a game that was supposed to be a mismatch, has turned into a thriller here at Ivor Wynne Stadium this afternoon.
Isn't that always the way it goes?
Could happen again later on today when Saskatchewan plays in Montreal. That is a good catch by Stu Lang. The fans don't like the call. They felt he might have trapped the ball, but he makes it against 2 defenders down there, Zambiazzi and Banks. First down.
Well, the official was in perfect position to make this call, but there was good coverage, and Warren Moon had a lot of time out here. The coverage was pretty good, and Zambiazzi was right there. Ball well thrown, low, away from Zambiazzi, and Banks coming in a little late. Lang knew he'd made the catch, and he was making sure nobody took that ball away from him.
That's his first catch today, and a big one to keep this drive alive for the Eskimos. First down now from the 35-yard line. Germany Down to about the 32, has 3. Bill Banks again with the stop. We've got 2 minutes and 51 seconds left. Hamilton leads by 1 point. Well, here's the situation. Hamilton leading by a point. There's the time remaining, 2:51. The Eskimos are second down, about 8 yards from the 32-yard line of Hamilton. Moon for Smith, can't hang on. Randy Graham put a hand up, and it bounced off the fingertips of Waddell Smith.
Well, you couldn't get a better situation as far as the Edmonton offense was concerned. The blitz was on, all the linebackers were coming, and you had a man-to-man defense situation. And they had the slowest defensive back, number 14, Graham, covering their fastest receiver. The ball was just thrown behind Waddell Smith. It had been laid out in front of him. He had 6 points. Perfect situation for Edmonton with the defense Hamilton was playing.
Here comes Dave Cutler to try from 39 yards away. He's 2 for 2. He's hit from 27 and 22 yards. This one can put the Eskimos in front. It's wide. Trying to get into the end zone is Dave Shaw. He does. Shaw to the 5-yard line. A big play for Hamilton. We have 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. That was a 19-yard return, and under the most difficult of circumstances.
Well, Dave Cutler with that swirling wind had lots on the ball, and he kicked it right back, as you say, 19 yards into the end zone. And Dave Shaw did a good job of getting out to the 5-yard line. But it's very important now, after that happened, for Hamilton to get a couple of first downs, because if they have to punt that ball, then they are going to give Edmonton good field position where they can try it again.
Hamilton does not have a first down here in the 4th quarter. As Russ says, they need one desperately here. But Rowland got cut down for a loss back of the 2. Larry Highbaugh knifing through to stop it.
Well, it's one of those times as a quarterback you feel you have to put that ball in the air. You really don't want to do it. But with a 2nd and 12 or 13 situation, knowing you have to get a first down to protect this lead because of the wind conditions, it's almost imperative that Tom throw it up.
Hamilton's only had 7 plays in this entire 4th quarter, and here's a big down right here. Clements back into his end zone. Puts it up, and there's nobody home. And a penalty marker is thrown. The official may have ruled he intentionally threw it away.
There wasn't a soul over on this side of the field.
Just you, Tom.
They weren't throwing it to me, I'll tell you.
Wouldn't have had a completion if he had.
Ah, come on.
They'd all be tackling you if you ever got your hands near it.
Well, what are they going to do? Negotiate.
Interesting situation, you know, when a quarterback does that in a potential safety touch situation, and it is going to be ruled as a safety touch.
That's right.
That penalty results in a score. Clements grounding the ball when he could have been tackled in the end zone. It was about to be. So it's 2 points. Edmonton takes the lead.
That's quite a
22-21.
And also Hamilton's going to have to kick off, because when you concede that safety touch, you must kick off to the other team. So Edmonton not only is going to take the lead by 1 point, they're going to get the ball when Hamilton has to kick off.
You don't see it very often, but here's what happened.
Tom Clements in the end zone now, and he had no one around. He's just trying to get himself out of trouble. Este, number 55, gets a pretty good hit at him, and he's thrown that ball completely over by the Edmonton bench, and you can, for yourself, see there's no one around, and John Payne and the Hamilton bench are very unhappy right now at that call. But
it's a good one.
It's a good call, Don, but not only do they have to give up those 2 points, but they must kick off, and that has to be important. And the official has just thrown another flag, and I'm wondering if it's against Hamilton.
That is against Hamilton. Some of the players were not too kind with their suggestions toward the officials who make him up, but it was a good call, as you said. There wasn't a soul anywhere near where that ball was thrown.
Well, the joy that was experienced earlier by these fans has turned now to anger and frustration. They don't like the call, but we'll say it again, and you saw it. The officials had no alternative. As he was about to be tackled, Clements clearly threw to an open area of the field where there was no Hamilton receiver within a good 15 yards of where the ball came down. But what a time to have it happen. The turnaround points to make it 22-21 Edmonton.
Well,
with 1 minute and 39 seconds left.
That's kind of not the greatest way to win a football game, but they'll take it, that's for sure. But the key thing here is that there is 1:39 left.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Tom, that the game is like this now because the fans are really irate and throwing a lot of debris on the field.
You betcha they're outraged. I'd just soon be where you are, as a matter of fact.
That's right. I'm sure, Tom, you better keep your eyes open.
I don't want to see it coming. They're grumpy.
As Russ says, this kickoff now is another penalty against Hamilton. They've got to give the ball away, and they now trail by a point. I'm sure that was the furthest thing from Clement's mind. He let that ball go. This is Butler from his own 30. And he scatters around the 40-yard line and gets out to about the 42 on a 13-yard return with 1:33 remaining now. And I don't think these people here will be quiet for quite some time yet.
Hey, whiskey bottle just came out here. I don't like that stuff.
Get a helmet, Tom, and put it on. Borrow one from the bench down there.
Little over 1.5 minutes left. Wilkie back in, may have trouble being heard. Germany, good burst across the 45. Gets 4 to 5 yards.
Wilkinson knows that he's not going to get any help from this crowd, and the best thing to quiet the crowd down is to get a couple of plays going, get a first down, and they get a little dispirited.
The Eskimos have had to battle from behind here. It's 2nd down and 6. 57 seconds remaining. And they stopped them short of the first down. So Hamilton is going to get the ball back. Germany hauled down in the area of the 47-yard line. 3rd down and the better part of 5. Clock still moving, believe me. Hank Olisic will take all the time he can to get this one away. 40 seconds left now as they boo Olisic, and the Eskimos for stalling as long as they can. Here's the charge. They just missed the block. Ball is mishandled by Dave Shaw, and he has to cover up. He lost it. The Eskimos have come up with it at the 20-yard line with 25 seconds remaining. Shaw, in his anxiety to get a fast start, did not have control. And then when the Eskimo wave of tacklers came downfield, he was nowhere in a position to recover the ball.
Well, 11-man rush, the same as Hamilton used on the first kick that Olisic had in this ball game. All he wanted to do was get away. He didn't get a good kick away. And when Shaw came up to get that ball and he dropped it, he should have initially just fell on it. He tried to look around, see where people were, and by that time Edmonton was there. One of them kicked it ahead, and they fell on it and got the ball, and it looks like the game with 25 seconds to go.
We have an injured Eskimo player. Looks to be Waddell Smith. Yes.
A lot of these fans moving out of the ballpark now had their yell and their chance to let the officials know what they thought about them.
Well, it'll be a safer place without them, I think. Pretty angry. So Smith is the 3rd Eskimo receiver to be shaken up today. We saw Scott and Kelly leave for brief periods earlier.
They go back to Edmonton tonight, I think around 6:30 on a flight. It's going to be a long ride for some of those guys to start to stiffen up.
That's right.
A couple hours after the ball game.
Doesn't hurt so much when you win.
That's true. It'll be a little more comfortable.
Eskimos aren't going for more points here. They're just playing out this clock now, which is down to 22 seconds. Hamilton's last chance, obviously, went out the window when Dave Shaw fumbled the punt return.
Hamilton's come so close these last 2 weekends, Don, playing good, exciting football behind Tom Clements.
Lose by 7 points to the defending Eastern champions last week. Now it appears they'll go down by 1 to the defending Grey Cup champions. Looking back at the clock is Tom Wilkinson. A flag has been thrown. Wilkie goes down as some fisticuffs break out down there. Angelo, well, let's see.
Jesse O'Neill, number 79, and Bill Stevenson, number 62 for the Eskimos. They've been battling each other throughout this ball game as the defensive and offensive tackle, and you don't need that at this stage of the game. I know the frustrations are there, and both teams have played hard, but that isn't going to solve any of the problems.
That's quite a volatile, potentially volatile situation down here. Not just in the playing field either. These fans are unhappy. Most of them have moved down. They're all near the front of the stands. Hot Dog came out here a while ago.
Well, there was a penalty marker thrown before O'Neill and Stevenson started throwing punches. I'll almost guarantee we'll have to have one more ritual by Wilkinson to officially end this game. There's 1 second on the clock.
Don, I like what John Payne is doing. He's putting Alan Moffat in number 56 to replace Jesse O'Neill. He hasn't been thrown out of the ball game, but he is putting him in to replace him so that we don't have that situation. That goes to say a lot about John Payne and what he thinks. That he doesn't want that either, and that's really good.
The penalty was offside against Hamilton.
And Stevenson is being taken out as well by Campbell. Now they were ejected.
Oh, yes.
They both were ejected.
They're both
so it's
out of the game. So John Payne might have taken him out anyway, but he wasn't given any choice.
That's right.
Now Hamilton gets the worst of the penalty yardage. The extra roughing call takes it half the distance. There's an offside against Hamilton there, too.
Taking a long time to play this last minute and a half.
This last second's taken about 2 minutes already.
Just think if we had timeouts.
The ball is at the 8-yard line. And this could be it. Again, risking nothing in the way of a possible fumble. I'm sure Wilkie will simply ground it. No need to get any more points. They've got the margin of victory. Back he goes and down, and I think we've got ourselves a decision. We have. The Edmonton Eskimos have beaten the Hamilton Ticats 22-21. And they have to work hard to do it. It's one of the strangest winning points you've ever seen in a football game. Turnaround when Tom Clements threw the ball away, was called for it, and a safety touch was awarded to Edmonton to give them the win, and the officials being pelted with all sorts of debris as they go into the locker room area at the end of Ivor Wynne Stadium. They are sprinting into that locker room, and most of them are in there now, but these fans are, believe me, less than kind, and there's the mess they have left, taking out their frustration and their anger on the officials, but they, of course, are not to blame. It was a perfectly legitimate call that was made at the time to award the safety touch to the Edmonton Eskimos. Well, it's been quite a day, Tom. Let's go down to you and Tom Wilkinson now.
Well, Tom, this was a wild and woolly football game. It was a far more exciting game than maybe we anticipated back a couple of hours ago. It's too bad it kind of had to end the way it did, but let's hear your thoughts from beginning to end.
Well, I think they got out to a real good start on us, and you know, the win, I thought, played a big factor on field position. It didn't really affect your passing that much, but it did on the kicking game and everything. And then when we got the win in the second quarter, you know, there were a couple times we fumbled the ball on a punt return and fumbled the ball on a pass, and we just didn't have possession enough in the second quarter when we had the win. But I thought our team come back in the second half when we were down and really stuck together good, and Warren came in and did an excellent job, and we come back, and when we got to where we were 1 point behind, we felt if we could hold them, get good field position, we'd kick a field goal.
Tommy, I was talking to Huey Campbell before the game, and I said, Huey, do you worry about your club having such a great record this year, coming up flat against a club like the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Aside from saying that he, as a head coach, he has to worry about everything in the world, he said, yes, he was a little bit concerned about that. Did that filter through to the players at all?
Oh, yeah, I really don't think that we were flat. We just did, you know, they got all the breaks the first part of the ball game, and Clements was really doing a good job out there. He's using some pick plays that are illegal, but they were working very well. He was mixing his plays up extremely well, and like I say, when we were getting the ball, we were just making little mistakes, maybe fumbling or dropping a pass or not throwing to the right receiver, and then the second half we got it together. So I don't really think that we were down. It was just that we didn't make any breaks.
They were certainly fired up, there's no doubt about that, both defensively and offensively.
That's right, and they've got a good football team, and we knew that, and that's why I say I don't think we were down. We watched their film last week, and they had an excellent game against Montreal.
I don't know about you, I'd just soon get out of here. Some of these missiles are getting a little bit close. Thank you very much, Tom.
Okay, Tom.
Good game, nice victory. 1 point, might as well have been $1 million. We'll be back in just a moment at Ivor Wynne Stadium, talk to some of the other players. Warren Moon is standing by. We'll get to him in just a moment. Stay with us. Back at Ivor Wynne Stadium with the man that did all the work in the second half. Well, not all the work, but he certainly had to direct the work out here in the field. We're in the middle of the field, but the safest place at Ivor Wynne Stadium right now. Those fans are still pretty hot. But Warren Moon, tell us about the second half from your point of view.
Well, I think we didn't start out the way, you know, we usually start out our ball games. We usually start out real quick and try and get on top. And I think that happened to us today, and it shocked us a little bit, and we weren't, you know, used to it.
This was a far different game than it was last Sunday.
A lot far different. I think we needed a game like this, though. We've been front running the whole season since the beginning of the year, and we got behind today, and it shows the kind of ball club we have to come back. You know, we were down 17 points, and we came back and won the ball game. It was a critical call that made us win it, but we'll take anything.
You had a nice pass to Waddell Smith for the touchdown. Tell us about that while we take a look at it.
Well, we were getting one-on-one coverage, and Waddell can beat probably anybody in the league one-on-one, and he did an excellent job of running after he caught the ball, and you know, it was mostly his work that got it in there.
I'll tell you, a little bit of razzle-dazzle too with the Jim Germany touchdown. But that, I understand, came in from the bench. It's also something you work on, right?
Yeah, we work on it every week, and you know, we haven't had to use it because we've been ahead every week, but today came in handy.
What about going through the rest of this season now without a loss? Does that prey on your mind? Do you think about that at all, or you just try to take this thing in one game at a time?
Well, you know, we set goals for ourselves, and the first one was to make it to the playoffs, and I think we've secured a playoff spot now, and then the next goal is to try and take first place. We're just trying to take each game one at a time, try not to get complacent like we did today, and you know, get behind like we did. We're a better ball club than that, and we showed it in the second half.
Warren, what about any personal goals that you might have set for yourself at the beginning of this season?
Well, I set a couple of goals. I want to get 20 touchdown passes, and I'd like to get 2,000 yards passing, but you know, that doesn't matter that much as long as we, you know, get to our ultimate goal, which is a Grey Cup.
You like going with this, basically what it is, a two-quarterback system, right?
Yeah, you know, it keeps both guys loose. It keeps both guys mentally into the game where, you know, one guy isn't playing all the time, and then all of a sudden you're called on when, say, somebody gets hurt or something. That makes it tough. But when you're playing, when situations say we're ahead or behind, you know, you just feel more comfortable once you get in the ball game. Today, I didn't feel anything once I went in.
Yeah, you had you had a bit of trouble with an airplane yesterday. It was 3 hours late. The breakfast was cold this morning. Did all that play any effect on the game?
To me, it did. I got a little sick this morning. You know, my breakfast wasn't that good, as you said, and you know, we didn't get in till late last night and had to get up early this morning, and I think that takes its toll on the players too.